Modern Dad Society, here in my vehicle in the middle of the afternoon, just a quick break from work, decided, you know what? Let's film the podcast for the week. So this one, I had a hard time kind of figuring out how to organize it, but it's fads versus phases. I feel like when I grew up, I dealt with fads as I was growing up. I feel like my kid dealt with more or less phases. I hope these are kind of the right terms. I know fads is. But you know what? Let's dive into it. My name's Jason Lucas. Got a 17-year-old home. She just graduated recently. Trying to, build a community, society, group where we can all chime in, talk about our experiences, parenting, life, family, you name it. So let's dive right in. So first one, I wouldn't say, I don't know about the first one I can remember because there's a lot of childhood stuff, but let's go with Britney Spears. I was in elementary school when the first Britney Spears Oops, I Did It Again album came out. I would say there's a fast fad for that, especially with all the guys looking through that CD album cover with all the hot pictures of Britney Spears. Man, when you're in grade 6, it's that and hacky sack is like the top of your fucking priority list. Whereas one about my kid, I'll just group it as gender rules. And it's more of like, her dealing with the different bathrooms, the different YouTube videos, the different, societal pushes to kids, and my kid, when she went through this, was very young. And, as a parent, you want to keep, your kids' options and futures open. So really what we focused on was, you have 80 years ahead of you. At 10 years old, focus on friends, school, having fun, going outside, riding your bike, and learning all the different things out there. So next up on the list, I would say magic cards. That was very, very popular also when I was in elementary school. And I would, I'll draw a line to my kid in phases, going through damn YouTube unboxing videos. Absolutely ridiculous. So it was just like you're watching these kids, you're watching your kid unbox videos. It's just watching your kid watch other kids having fun and getting toys. Ridiculous. So another one they do is, as my kid grew up, it's like they started watching kids. It was a video of kids playing games. And it's like, what? Just, I can buy the game for you. You can play it. You don't need to watch a kid playing the game that you want to play. I'll buy it for you if you want. You just need to be like, hey dad, can I have this game? And I'll be like, here you go. Unless it's like crazy expensive, or it's like, maybe wait till Christmas, wait till your birthday, right? Ridiculous. So it's like Pokemon. That was a little, I would call it a fad. I know like a lot of these fads and phases, obviously they stretch out for a lifetime. However, there's, you got your mountains and your roller coaster of when it peaks for you personally or your kid, right? So Pokemon was a thing as well. A super fun, quick one was Crazy Bones. And those were those little plastic, well, now they're probably could be 3D printed, but those were literally plastic molded creatures of like all these little bone guys, this little femur with a little face on it, and he stood up, and everyone wanted, I think it's Eggy, not Eggo, because that's what I eat in the morning. Eggy. Everybody wanted to get Eggy. You'd have your little coffin plastic box with all your little Crazy Bones, and you'd throw it, see which one stood up, and you would trading them. Just like a lot of other stuff. Honestly, don't even remember how the game worked, or if you just tried to get Eggy and then trade it and be the cool kid at the school. So I would draw a line, as simple as sweatpants. Sure, kids wear sweatpants all the time, but there's definitely in my life and in my kid's life a peak. For me, there was no such thing really as back in the day. It was mostly my buddy who wore thin khaki cargo pants, but that's another story for another day. But gray sweatpants, ridiculous, or just sweatpants in general. Like, stop wearing sweatpants 24/7. It's not the best everyday wear. Anyways, super weird. We can also talk about Pogs. Love Pogs. Got those slammers. I got my dad, he machined steel ones for the slammers just to have some fun. And yeah, it was super fun. So having the fads out there for us, were more, I would say, physical products And then kids, it's like, okay, you can talk about there was a TikTok or a Snapchat phase. And it peaked. Like, let's get real here. All these things had a peak and then a valley, and then they smoothed out. Just like the stocks. You know, there's peaks and valleys of all these things. And when it came to fads versus phases, in my head, I'm thinking us growing up, the fads were more physical products, and my kid, I felt like, went through more phases where it was more social dynamics, it was more mental, it was more feelings, it was more talking, it was more I don't know how else to explain it besides, I guess, social dynamics and brain, maybe. I don't know. Another fad for myself is devil sticks. I vividly remember devil sticks coming out when I was a kid. I had a couple pairs. I even made myself a couple pairs from wooden dowels, and you wrap it with a whole bunch of tassels and all that plastic rubber from like a tennis racket handle, and you have the coolest devil sticks and try to be cooler than your friend. But I remember when I was in, I think, grade 4 or 5, can't remember exactly, but I vividly remember sitting in gym class in a talent show, and this guy rolled in. I'm pretty sure it wasn't a kid. I'm pretty sure it was like his older brother or something. And it was like devil sticks with the fireballs on either end. Coolest fucking thing ever. Like, turned down the gym lights, and then this guy's playing devil sticks or doing devil sticks or flipping devil sticks. Who knows what it's called? He was playing devil sticks, let's say, and he lit them on fire. He was tossing in the air, and it was just like the coolest thing. And it was like such a, like, the peak of that fad. It was unreal. Loved it. I'll draw a straight line to my kid fad or phases. The iPad phase. Every kid has an obsession with an iPad at some point in time, and it like maxes out to, like, you know, turning absolutely bananas when they can't touch an iPad or can't view an iPad, like absolutely nuts. So yeah, devil sticks. And I'm gonna be thinking about that all day, actually. Another one, like Nerf guns. I don't know if Nerf guns is definitely like pretty smooth, but I would say there's a little bit of a height of Nerf guns slash, when I was a little bit older, paintball guns. We'll put all those in the same category. Even hunting slingshots. I got a hunting sling. Well, my dad got me a hunting slingshot. Put a couple paintballs in those and flung them at my friends. Super fun and super funny, and you don't need that CO2 refill time. So yeah, Nerf guns, and then obviously paintball guns, and then obviously shooting real guns. So, you know, a little bit of a fad for that. And, you know, let's draw a line over to the kids, but you know, let's, a little bit more serious would be the clinical self-diagnosis. And yes, I do have some notes that's helping me. Clinical diagnosis. So this was even yesterday. My kid came to me, blah blah blah, said something. It's like, he said some fancy science word and mixed with this and that, and then the kid blacked out and didn't feel good, and then that. Like, when I grew up, all that was don't drink while you're on any kind of medication. Simple as that. We didn't need science words, or we didn't need to Google to decide what it did. It just, we knew that drinking and different kind of medications, Tylenol, antidepressants, any of that shit, just you're right up. Blacked out. Didn't even need the medication blackout. Some of you just drink until you blacked out. But, you know, the clinical self-diagnosis, as the internet grew and as the internet expanded and now it's AI, everyone thinks that, you know, they just Google things. It's like, you know what, we all have parents and we all have better guides for those kind of questions. So it's like, we got to get out of the habit, and even as adults, is getting out of the habit of, you know, listening to the biased internet. Because the best explanation that someone's told me about AI is that it is numbers. And if you imagine, all I can think is like Minority Report with Tom Cruise, but it's like, when you're looking into this world or into this void, you know, you have groupings of these numbers. So every word that you type in gets converted to a number, then gets converted into this world, or this void, or this atmosphere that you can call it, whatever the internet is. So it's like, if you type in apple, it puts it right here. If you type in orange, it puts it pretty close. So those are all the fruits. And then the vegetables is another cluster. And then, you know, Tylenol is another cluster. And then sneezing and coughing is another cluster. So all these clusters. So when you ask ChatGPT something, it aims at the most popular cluster to give you the most popular answer. Doesn't mean it's right, and it's definitely not specific for you and for your condition or for your biology of what's happening. So don't trust everything on AI. It's a little bit weird, but starting to think of it as groupings of like clusters, all you're doing is reaching for a cluster and being like, what's the average, and then picking that. So is it accurate and helpful? Or you can just go by, the more generalness of like when we grew up as don't drink when you're on medication. Just keep it simple like that. So you don't have to type in, this is the medication, this is the drinking, they blocked out Y. It's like, well, A plus B equals stupidity. Figure it out. So, when I was growing up, when it comes to this whole mental health and diagnosis, we didn't have that. So we just heckled each other. We encouraged each other to take more risks. We encouraged each other just to get through it. If we were sick, we just fucking got through it and did whatever we wanted. Whether it's biking or I'm just reading down here, it's like all the Jackass stunts I used to do. So it's like fad, yes, Jackass, but yes, obviously the Jackass movie's coming out, even, the best and last. But yeah, Jackass was a phase. It was I had multiple Jackass phases. But now kids are more cautious. Like, you're going to be okay, kid. It's not the end of the world if you take a couple risks, whether it's, riding your bike or, whether it's physical or even mental. Take the risks. Don't have so much caution. Don't be so sensitive. Push yourself. It's the only way to experience the best you can out of life. And you might learn something with it. You might grow. You might, turn into a real hobby. You might turn into a career even. Take the risk. Don't be as cautious. Maybe not Jackass stunts, but, take the risks to, advance yourself and learn. So the last couple things I have written down is, we built the fads in our past for the kids today to have the nostalgia to look back on and either love or hate us for it. But long story short, I think they're looking back at how goddamn awesome we all were back then. Because call it fast forward 10 or 20 years. What's the nostalgia going to be? TikTok? Vine? Snapchat? Unboxing videos? All these 8-year-olds unboxing videos are now going to be 28 and their nostalgia is to look back at themselves opening up a Shopkins. Not as cool as when the nostalgia for our era is these iPods or even iPod touches and what's the little smaller one? iPad minis, and then there was iPod minis, iPod nanos. I had all that stuff. I still have it in my closet. I have a lineup of old cell phones and flip phones and slide phones. It's like, that's wicked nostalgia. But yeah, it's gonna be hard for them to look back in nostalgia. So, they can't look back and be like, yeah, I tried to eat a Tide Pod. That was pretty nostalgic. I remember when my face was blue, my parents came in and got super mad. So anyways, I do want to end this on some honorable mentions that were kind of between my grown up era and my kids' grown up era that were hilarious, but not too nostalgic to look back on, but sure, you might rewatch the video. So I'll give a shout out to the Harlem Shake videos out there. Love all that. Did a couple myself. I already mentioned Tide Pods, planking. Kind of fun, kind of cool, kind of innocent. So I love that. You know what? Appreciate that. Especially all the crazy ones where it's like they're bouncing on their, fence posts and shit like that. Just wild. Last but not least, mannequin challenge. Actually, I think I saw a video or something about that recently where, they did the mannequin challenge all froze while pouring like this 4-liter thing of milk down his pants. Appreciate that, because one kid's just pouring it out for about a minute and another kid's filming going around. There's 6 others around it, just frozen. You know what? That milk's probably really cold. So respect to that video. But you know what? Fads versus phases, however you want to describe it, we all grow up in the unique society of the day and age. So you know what? Let me know in the comments below what kind of different nostalgia moments that your kid look back on, what kind of phases your kid has gone through, and also what are some wicked fads that I may have not mentioned. I know there's tons out there from all around the world. So you guys let me know. My name's Jason Lucas. Thanks again for being part of the podcast today. Thanks again. Like, share, subscribe for these videos. I keep putting out shorts that are super fun with the family and all the different things to think about. So enjoy, and have a great week ahead of you guys.